Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1243. Hi, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Today we're going to have Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, plus the return of the interesting news segment, the Wow That's Wild files, as we get so close to Christmas. It's just around the bend. And may I suggest to you, my friend,
Mike's Daily Podcast,
a song that I love so much. I heard it last night for the first time, and
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It is called Up in the Sky by a girl named J. May. I guess that's how you say your name, but what the hey, it's an interesting song that's very cool about Christmas and the things that we dismiss this time of year as not true, like Santa Claus.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I think Santa is real in our hearts, and that's why our hearts grow.
Mike's
like the Grinch's.
Daily.
Remember when his heart grew?
Podcast.
It got really big, and then he died.
Yeah!
Oh, no, wait, he lived. And he had the little dog with the antlers on his head, kind of like my dog. Like my dog. Where did my voice go just then? I guess I'm a Muppet. Hey, you ever remember that store called Structure? Do you remember that store? It used to be in all the malls. And they would sell clothes to... They were selling clothes to hipsters, basically, in the 90s. Hipster clothes. I remember shopping there 20 years ago and getting a coat that I still have today. I remember I had this girlfriend named Julie, and she would always want to take me down to Santa Monica because we lived up in Ventura. We'd drive down to Santa Monica, and we'd go shopping in that mall, that street. Was it 2nd Street, 1st Street, 3rd Street, something like that? That's where Jewel got her start, busking. And then Sean Penn discovered her because he used to hang out there all the time. In fact, I saw him there with Timothy Hutton sitting outside having a drink. They were both dressed in black. But I did not see Jewel. I just saw Sean Penn and Timothy Hutton. But that was Santa Monica. I'd go down there with Julie. She'd make me spend a bunch of money. Sometimes we'd drive all the way to Long Beach. That was quite a drive. And I did not have a vehicle that really was up for that sort of driving, but whatever. It was a Toyota. Pretty darn strong, those Toyotas. But Structure, I still have that jacket. They disappeared. They turned into Express for a while, and then I don't know what they turned into. Banana Republic. But they're gone. And I can't buy hipster clothes anymore because I'm not a hipster. I grew out of that. I'm something else now. I'm a podcaster. But somebody just walked in. Hello, Michael Matthew. It's Madame Rootabega, and I will always be a hipster. Ooh. Why, do you have tattoos? Michael Matthew, I'm not going to tell. Well, if you do have tattoos, then I have to draw it in your cartoon that I drew today, and that makes it more difficult. I'm not that much... I'm a lazy drawer, is what I am, madam. Michael Matthew, I'm going to get a tattoo then. Oh, there she's going to go get a tattoo, and look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we are in the process of creating a third party.
Yeah, third party. Do you know that?
And apples are delicious.
What? Oh, yeah, apples are delicious. They're good. Oh, apples. So scary. For the first time, I bought this apple. It's called a piñata apple. Trader Joe's had them. And I think the reason why they call them that is it's when you take a bite, there's like a distant hint of something spicy, like wasabi or a horseradish, something spicy in the skin. And then it turns, as you're chewing it, you're like, oh, this is an apple. It tastes like an apple. But it's got that little initial spiciness. I like it. At first I was like, this is different. But I think the best Christmases are the ones that you involve a little bit of spiciness. Like, I like Christmas ornaments that are shaped like jalapenos. I like that. I like the spicy Mexican culture mixed with Saint Nicholas and Feliz Navidad. And somebody said to me yesterday that I say Feliz Navidad like a total white guy. And you know what? Maybe that's true. Maybe I'm not rolling my R's, but last I looked, Feliz Navidad didn't have any R's in it. I can roll my R's, watch. So good at it. But we're going to get some interesting topics on the segment called The Wow That's Wild Files. I wanted to point out to you something interesting. I know I talk about millennials a lot. I have a lot of millennial friends, and they like to tell me interesting things. Like Haley yesterday was telling me, and we haven't done a Daily Haley in a while, or a Jarrell Nemay, or a Addendum with Kevin. We haven't done a lot of my side segments where we have interesting guests on lately, so we'll have to do that more of that in the new year in 2017. But the two millennials that I know, Haley and Dalton. Haley, first off, yesterday told me about these videos that are on YouTube that where a certain ring, word like ring, like if you're showing, the Lord of the Rings, when the word ring is said, the movie speeds up.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Double time, hammer time. And the podcast picture is of Madame Rootabega and I in a drawing. Oh, and she's back.
Michael Master, do you like my tattoo?
I can't even see it.
It's done with invisible ink. Ooh.
Oh, so then we gotta get a black light to see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so they've uploaded Lord of the Rings to YouTube. Every time the word ring is said, it goes double time. So, they say ring and it speeds up, and the next thing you know, the movie's over. So I was thinking, since we like to say the word so a lot in our culture today, you could take just about any podcast. Podcasts are scary. And every time someone says so, it would speed up to fat. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'd like to do it to an episode of This American Life. What's a word they say a lot on This American Life? Act one. Well, the people that start the stories go, so I used to live in a cardboard box over on the beach. And then every time they said so, it was... The other millennial I know is Dalton, and he was telling me how a lot of he and his fellow people his age enjoy Bob Ross. Do you know who Bob Ross is? He's that guy that used to be on PBS all the time that does the paintings. And he's got this big fro. And he's white with a big fro, and apparently he got a perm because he didn't like having to go to barbers all the time. That's what Dalton told me. And he did the show in the 80s, and he would do these paintings so quickly, and it made it look so simple, and he just has this really mellow way of talking. Hey, so now you take a little bit of the peach color and you dab it there, and look, you got a little peach on your canvas. Isn't that wonderful? And he apparently has... So all of his videos are up on Netflix now, is the point of this. And you can watch this, and apparently you can get stoned and watch this, and it's a fantastic experience. And probably listening to this podcast stoned is an experience that you're experiencing now. But he's got this really mellow voice, and sometimes you see him petting a deer or like petting a squirrel. This is my pet squirrel. This is my pet ferret. And other fun things like that. So, hey, jingle bells. We need some jingle bells right here. This part of the podcast needs jingle. Thank you. Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to be almost at the end of my week so that I can enjoy Friday off. Woo! Those are the lyrics, right? Woohoo! So J May does this beautiful song called It's Santa, Santa, Santa. Check it out, J May, Up in the Sky. And then also there's a group called the Levies. And 10 years ago, they came out with this great Hanukkah album where they sing all these funny songs about the things you catch at Hanukkah, like dreidels and what's the potato cake, latkes. I want to say latkes, and the gelt, and all the things that transpired during Hanukkah. Oh, they got a great song called How Do You Spell Hanukkah? And the beats are totally like, they'll rip off the Ramones on one song, they rip off the Police on another song. They're not actually taking songs from them, but they get the feel of those bands. And Bruce Springsteen, and check them out, the Levies. And what I like to do is go to the Live Music Archive, part of the Internet Archive website. I think it's just internetarchive.com. And you can listen to concerts that they and other bands have done. I think, what's that, Death Cab for Cuties up there, too. And Spoon and other bands. And you can hear their live concerts. Sometimes the quality's crap, but the quality for the Levies, Leevee, is fantastic, and they're hilarious in between. They're making jokes because they're Jewish. They're like, don't anybody sue us because we're throwing money out at you, because they're throwing gelt money into the audience. Well, actually, it's the candy gelt, candy coins, the chocolate coins. He said, don't anybody try and sue us because we're Jewish and we have a wall of lawyers surrounding us at all times. And the Levies, check them out. They're funny. So that gets me into the holiday mood. J-May gets me into the holiday mood. Watching the Gilmore Girls got me into the holiday mood. The new one that they have called A Year in the Life. And they talk about, they have some funny jokes in there. The last one I watched was actually about summer. And Rory, what's her name? I can never remember her dang name. She's like in her 30s now, and they're trying to make her look like a woman, but she still looks like a little girl. And she takes over the Stars Hollow Gazette, the local newspaper. And there's a funny scene where she's trying to get the paper off the ground, and then they have no distributor for the newspapers that they make. So she and her mom, played by Lauren Graham, who still looks amazing, and they go around delivering papers. They've got all the old characters back on the show. It's wonderful. Isn't that weird that I got into the Gilmore Girls? I just loved the writing and the fact that it was in a little town. It was sort of like why I got into Northern Exposure. It took place in a little town, and there's the people, then the characters that make up the little town. It's kind of fun, those kind of movies and TV shows. But I wanted to tell you about the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, where you can catch a picture of Madame Rootabega today, a drawing, and also all the past podcast pictures. You can help us out. There's an Amazon link. Click on that and buy whatever it is you're going to buy. I almost bought a dog sweater for my dog. I need to get him one of those. But if you're going to buy anything on Amazon, go through the MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com link. And there's also a link to PayPal. You'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And there's all the past interviews that I've done with interesting people. All there at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com.
The Wow, That's Wild Files.
What's on your financial keep in mind?
The Wow, That's Wild Files today centers around where Cafe Anyway is, Castro Valley. Well, first, this pertains to probably you as you drive this holiday season. It is going to be, this holiday season, it's for sure now, the most traveled holiday season ever. This, according to the Castro Valley Forum, it is going to be record-breaking travel in California, beginning on Friday and continuing through next Monday. Oh, actually through the first Monday of the year, January 2nd. The latest travel... By the way, I apologize for the sniffle. My gosh. This morning I woke up, it was so cold in my room, and I had to get out of my nice warm fleece pants into my cold businessy-ish pants that are wrinkled. Who cares? And it was so cold, my nose starts running right away. The latest travel survey from AAA Northern California, which I just stopped. I canceled my membership with them after over 30 years. Why? Because it turns out my car insurance already does the same thing that AAA does and more. So, screw them. Anyway, AAA Northern California. I hope you're enjoying this, because I obviously am. They predict that more than 12.4 million state residents will celebrate the end-of-the-year festivities with an excursion out of town, and mostly on the state's freeways. And if you want to color your painting of the freeway, you want to get a little bit of gray, because that's the color of the roads. Gray's my favorite color. I was so symbolic yesterday. If I paint a Picasso, I paint myself a rainy summer day. Mr. Jones and me. More Californians will travel to celebrate the holidays than ever before, said a spokesperson from AAA, who's mad at me for canceling my membership. Rising incomes and a desire to gather with family and friends should make this the most blah, 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 blah. AAA estimates approximately 10.9 million of those California travelers will drive to their holiday destination. The air travel industry will experience an increase of 48%. No, I'm sorry, 4.8%. That's a teeny bit. As more than 1 million Californians are expected to fly. Airfares for the top 40 domestic flight routes are 6% lower this year. Wait, what the? That article just collapsed upon itself. Stupid Castro Valley Forum. Oh, this is interesting. About, when I first moved to Castro Valley 7 years ago, I heard all this controversy about a sign. There was a sign way before I had arrived, and they had spent over $100,000 on this sign. And apparently people saw the sign and said to the artist, "Here's your sign." Because it was an awful sign, and people didn't like it. They didn't like it. Looked, it had a canoe in it, and people were like, "Why is there a canoe in it?" And the artist was, "Well, because of the Ohlone tribe that lived here before you white people." And the white people said, "But it looks ugly. I don't like it, even though I paid $100,000 for it." And the city council, which I don't think we have a city council in Castro Valley. We're not like Stars Hollow. Anyway, Nate Miley, who apparently rules the world and rules Podcastro Valley, said, "Let's put that," I don't know if that's how he sounds, but "let's put that in Dublin." So Dublin, Ireland is where the sign is now. No, Dublin across the Dublin grade over there. It's practically next to Podcastro Valley. 10-minute drive. So it sits there forever. Wary of starting another sign controversy, goes this article. The Alameda County Arts Commission wants to hear from as many people as possible about a new local community identifier project. What, another sign? No, this is for designing the painting's town's name with other design elements on freeway overpasses in Castro Valley. This will also be in neighboring San Lorenzo and Ashland Cherryland as well. The commission is inviting all community members who are interested to take part in a survey and also to apply to serve on a committee that will select the artists and designs. The overall goal is to create community gateway markers that help support a positive and welcoming environment for both the community and visitors, according to a commission press release. Practicing professional artists will be selected through an open, competitive process to design and paint the community identifiers. It will involve community feedback, because they don't want another frickin' disaster like with the past Castro Valley sign. It will involve community feedback as well as reviews by local groups, arts commissions members, the board of supervisors, and Caltrans, because it's going to be on Caltrans stuff. There's a link to this, but I would tell you to go to the Castro Valley Forum or go to, I don't know, Google Alameda County Arts Commission and new Castro Valley identifying markers. That should be easy enough. And finally, one more article as we pull this out of the Wow That's Wild files. And this about the Oh, I guess that's it. Really? Was it? I think when that article collapsed upon itself, it took the other article with it. Oh, yeah! This here. Look at this. Castro Valley has this post office that's basically the size of a shoebox. I avoid it like the plague. The parking lot's small. The parking lot's always a mess. You go in there, you have to wait an hour for it's like every other post office. I think the nicest post office I ever went to was in Petaluma. Those people were so fast, and it's a beautiful old post office, really tall ceiling. It's got like angels in the architecture saying amen, hallelujah. There's like, cool sculptures in the above you, and it's neat. I like it. The one we had in Ventura was nice too. It had a mural, but it took forever. The line was always long, and the guy was always super slow. He was this bizarre-looking guy with a weird haircut and a huge mustache. Looked like he wanted to be in a barbershop in a Laurel and Hardy film, and he, be a barber in a barbershop. Anyway, cafe. Anyway, it was the one in Castro Valley is not so nice. Anyway. Cafe anyway. And the long lines, they were already long last week. And apparently tomorrow, some 30 million packages will be delivered nationwide, the biggest delivery day of the year. The Postal Service has hired more than 35,000 seasonal workers to help process and deliver what is expected to be a 12% increase in volume over last year. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Thank you for listening to the show. If you're going to paint Santa, remember, you want to have a little bit of red and green on that Santa's wearing, because that's very Christmassy looking. And his beard is white, like snow. Next show, it's going to be Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere, the engineer. Ho, ho, ho.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!